Today, guys, I want to go over some Funko Pop lines that I think would be great to see in 2027. Hey everyone, welcome back to a new video. I do hope you're enjoying your day today. So I figured this would be pretty fun to just go over some licenses that I think would do really well for Funko in the next year or so. Now though, before we get started with my picks, I do want to ask the question of the day, which is, what are some licenses or things that you think would really help Funko as a company to put out and maybe gain more fans, or maybe just some lines that you would like them to put out? Now, the ones I actually chose today are kind of a good mix of things that I do like and things that I think would do well in general. So starting off with animation here, Sailor Moon. I don't know what's up with the Sailor Moon license. Obviously, we did get a ton of pops. We got exclusives. We got some Comic-Con stuff. But after all of those release all these years later, we never got any more. And I don't know what's up with that. Like, we even got like some Funko Mini stuff too. And then we never got any more pops. I think that's so weird. Sailor Moon is one of the most recognizable and popular animes of all time. And again, I don't know if it's an issue with the license per se. I don't know if there's just like too much saturation on the market with Sailor Moon figures and, you know, Bandai's just not willing to lend out the merchandising rights to Funko or what. I know sometimes Funko just can't get certain licenses with anime. So maybe that's what it is. But if it's not, and Funko's just not paying attention to this license, I think that would be pretty crazy. But yeah, guys, I think if Funko could get the Sailor Moon license again, it would really benefit them, maybe even bringing in that Sailor Moon crowd that really wants more merchandise all the time. All right, so this next one is Sword Art Online. So Sword Art Online is a very beloved anime. Whether you like it or not, it's super popular. There's already another movie coming out in 2028 as well. So this one, though, I feel could be hit or miss. And I'm saying that as a fan. And the only reason I say that is if you look at the last wave, Funko just didn't have good choices here. Like, we had two styles of Kirito and Asuna. Okay, main character is cool. But we also already had an Asuna and we had two Kiritos at the time anyways. So they put out a new wave all these years later, and then we just got four of similar characters and then one new character, Leafa, there. And when you look at the exclusives in this list, I mean, they're not crazy different. They're just action poses of the same outfits. You know, it's nothing insane. And Leafa's a little basic. She just has her sword out. And then what was weird is we were originally supposed to see a Sinon in this wave, which I thought was a great character. Sinon is one of my favorite characters actually in the show, and she got canceled. So we literally only got one new character after waiting all those years. And there are so many great characters in Sword Art Online, seriously. Literally the main gang, you could go with like villains. I'm not a huge fan of Alicization, but I know some people would really like characters from that too. You know, you have the Ordinal Scale movie, which would be really cool. And in general, even if you're just going to do Asuna and Kirito, if you maybe did something really cool, turn them into premiums, or maybe you could do boss fights when they did them in Aincrad or Alfheim Online, Gun Gale Online. Like, I think there's plenty of characters to make, and you could just make it a generic universe license, like just Sword Art Online on the top, and then make some of the most popular characters from each individual like season or arc. All right, guys, so another anime choice I did actually have was Attack on Titan here. So Attack on Titan, I don't feel there's too much left for them to do, but I do feel they are still missing certain characters. So I kind of put together a collage here of things that I think would be great choices. Of course, there's other things they could do from Attack on Titan that I think would sell well too, but I think some of these ones that I listed here are great. A new Colossal Titan, people have been asking for it for years. A 10-inch version, just like they did the Armored Titan, would be great. Erwin riding the horse, I think, would just make for a really cool pop ride. It's obviously from one of the more popular scenes in Attack on Titan. I'm not saying make 50,000 pieces of it, you know, but I think a pop ride would be cool. The Founding Titan, I'm not even sure how they would even attempt that mold. I'm not gonna lie. That seems very hard to do and it not break. I think the attempt would be cool though, and I think it would look like a very scary pop. Peak there, so we actually got her Titan, but we never got her. And a lot of people really love this character, especially right next to her Titan. And it would be funny to put her kind of like in a sideways box, like the Lounging Inosuke, for example, because she's always on the floor. So I think that would be perfect. And then lastly, for a pop moment choice, and there's plenty of pop moments you could do from Attack on Titan. All the ones they did so far suck. If memory serves, yeah, because they did like the Titan meeting Rhino moment, which was just boring, and then the, what was it, Zeke and Aaron moment, like in the sand, like I can't remember what that place is called off the top of my head, but yes, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. That moment was boring. This would make for a cool moment, Levi versus the Beast Titan. Even if you did it in a similar style like the Cell versus Gohan recent thing where they connect, you could somehow make these connect. Now, there are a million personal anime favorites that I could throw in here, but I'm not gonna do that in this video. I didn't want it to be like a biased video per se. I wanted to actually put some things in here that would be really good selections. So next up is Jujutsu Kaisen. While not one of my favorite animes out there, I still think Culling Games is being slept on right now. Here's some really great like concepts that were made by Fun Collect in the last year or so that were just so good, and Funko could really take inspiration from these, or obviously just watch the show and you got plenty of inspiration there. Genuinely, they could probably make 3 or 4 waves from Culling Games alone, and as long as they're really nice molds with some like quality detail, I really don't think fans would complain. Culling Games is huge, and Funko's just sleeping on it. The only new thing we're getting from Jujutsu Kaisen soon is a 10-inch Itadori pop, and I'm like, how did we land on this over Culling Games? So I'm really hoping there's something in the pipeline for Culling Games next year. If not, they are just failing on the JJK line. Like, they have stuffed it with so much nonsense and glows and just random stuff that we do not need versus focusing on core characters or really cool moments. So I'm hoping they really lock in with Jujutsu Kaisen soon. Okay, moving on to more animation outside of anime, I do actually have Ben 10 here. I feel like they're just missing out on this license. I think doing a full wave would really capture fans' attention because they're only doing a few at a time. Like, originally we got the Funko sodas of Ben 10 and then Heat Blast. Then we got the Funko Pops of Ben 10 and Heat Blast. And then we got like Ghost Freak as a standalone. We had Swampfire as a standalone. I actually think Swampfire was that the first ever Ben 10 like Funko Pop we got outside of the soda? I think so. But anyways, I think these like 6 classic aliens would be really great choices to maybe just for a starter wave of like a bigger wave. And then obviously they can really branch off like over the years if they wanted to, but I think this would be a great start. Some really classic ones, like I said, Diamond Head, upgrade there, Stinkfly, Accelerate Forearms, and then, I mean, Alien X, I don't know, I mean, it's like a classic, but like more so I just threw it in there because they were originally going to do a Funko soda of it, and that got canceled. So if you could do a Funko soda of it, you can definitely do a Funko Pop of it, if that makes sense. So Ben 10, I really think they're sleeping on that. I would love to see more classic cartoons from, you know, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Disney, all of those in general. Now, speaking of classic cartoons, we have Regular Show here. So originally it was actually leaked that we were getting a full new set. There were some code names that leaked out, and they actually matched up with Regular Show Pops. And then nothing ever came up of it, which was such a bummer. Occasionally you guys ask me like whatever happened to those, and just I've heard nothing over the last few years, unfortunately. But Regular Show actually just got some new episodes earlier this year from like the Lost Tapes. I think maybe there might be more coming, I'm not sure. But yeah, Regular Show had a little revival not too long ago, and I believe it was well received. But also at the same time, Regular Show has like a cult following, like genuinely a cult following to it, to where I think a new line would do very well, especially when you consider that the original line is just really expensive. Like, all of them are really expensive. To complete the entire set could cost you almost $1,000. Maybe, I don't know, I haven't checked on the prices in a while, but I know certain characters are a few $100s alone, so I really think Funko would benefit from doing a new Regular Show set. As long as it's done well and they do some really cool, like, unique stuff, I really do think it would do okay for them. Okay, so this next one could also be hit or miss, but it's a little bit biased just because I'm a Spider-Man fan, and that's Across the Spider-Verse here. So I wanted to use this image as a reference here just because it has so many Spider-Men and Spider-Woman and creatures in the background there. I really think they could dive more into the Spider-Verse just from this movie alone, and just creating really cool Spider-Man variants versus just giving us similar stuff all the time. Granted, we have a million Spider-Man pops. Like I said, this could be hit or miss. It could do well, it could not do so well. Also, at the same time, we have Beyond the Spider-Verse coming out next year anyways. We're probably gonna get some really cool stuff from that movie. So really, I would take either. Now, a few more animated stuff includes Disney classic, like, animated movies here. So some things they haven't done yet includes Tarzan, which I don't even know how that's possible. Tarzan, I love Tarzan. I even really enjoyed the live action movie too. We also have Chicken Little, and Meet the Robinsons and Brother Bear. Now, those 3, I'm not entirely sure how those would do. Like, I think those are classic movies, but I don't know if they hold up enough for merchandise in 2026, if that makes sense. I still think I can go back and watch those movies and really enjoy them and laugh, just like I did as a kid. But I think merchandise-wise, I'm hesitant. But I wanted to at least put something for Disney Classic because they've actually been diving into a lot of those older movies in the last like few years. But I think out of all of these that would do very well would be Tarzan for sure. Okay, now moving on to a couple video game items, we have Resident Evil here. So obviously just in the last few months, we got a brand new Resident Evil collection, and that included a lot of popular characters. Some we've already seen, and then we got some new characters like the Chainsaw Villager as well as Wesker. I still think there's a lot more they could lean into with the Resident Evil franchise. I believe we actually might be getting more stuff next year. As to what that is unknown. But the reason I want to see more Resident Evil is just because, one, the games are extremely popular. This is one of the most popular gaming franchises on the planet. There are just so many great characters and monsters and villains that Funko can make from the Resident Evil franchise, so I really think this is something they should lean into in the coming years. Now, another pretty big gaming franchise includes God of War here. So we haven't gotten a lot recently per se. Like, we did just get a new Kratos, and we're expected to see more from Ragnarok, like at least 2 or 3 pops, which I think is great. But I think there's still so much more they can do from God of War for sure. And I don't know if it would be good to tap into the more recent games versus the older games. That is just kind of up in the air for me. They could maybe just make a really cool God of War universe set. Maybe like Kratos through the games would be really nice. I don't know. I think God of War is just such a big franchise. Obviously, we also have the Amazon series coming, though that's had some recent setbacks with Ryan getting hurt and them replacing him with Dave Bautista. But yes, obviously in the next year or two, we have 2 God of War things coming out, including the new game, Laufey, and obviously the Amazon series. And then I think there was also something else coming out for Kratos, like another new game too. All right, so moving on to some live action like movies and TV series that I think would do well includes Terminator here. So interesting enough with Terminator, I thought we had more pops, but we don't. We only have pops from The Dark Fate, which I don't remember being a very good movie. But yes, we only have pops from this movie, which is very disappointing. Terminator is such a huge franchise, and I really enjoyed those movies growing up. So I'm really surprised that we haven't seen more other than Dark Fate. A lot of really great things they can do from those, and I think Terminator fans would just like eat it up genuinely. Something else that I think would do very well is the Walking Dead universe pops. Obviously, they've come out with a lot of like spin-off shows in the last few years. Some Here Alone, Dead City, Daryl Dixon, The One Who Live. So there's just so much to pull from those different like series. Like, I'm really surprised with how well Daryl Dixon was actually being received that we didn't get pops from that particular show. And The Ones Who Live, they gave you the prime like opportunity to make more Rick Grimes pops because people love Rick Grimes, myself included. I'm a big Walking Dead fan. The only one I can't really seem to get through very quickly is Dead City. That one, like, as much as I love Negan and I love Maggie's characters, it's just kind of boring. Like, I don't know if anybody else is getting that same feeling. I really enjoyed Daryl Dixon. The Ones Who Live, I think it could have been done better, but I really enjoyed seeing Rick back, obviously, and the dynamic between him and Michonne. Yes, there's so much they could take from The Walking Dead, and I'm surprised we haven't gotten anything new in a while. Now, the last selection I have for today's video is Reacher here from Amazon Prime. Reacher is a fantastic show. Like, fantastic show. Alan was born for that role, especially over Tom Cruise. Even though I like Tom Cruise's kind of like adaptation or like, you know, portrayal of Jack Reacher, I think Alan was just made for the role. He does it so well. I'm enjoying every season and every episode he's in. And really, I don't think there's too much they could actually pull from this show technically. I think just getting Reacher himself in like 1 to 3 styles would be great, just as a really short line, and I think that would appease fans. Because kind of how the show works is that in every season, he's somewhere else, so there's not really any repeating characters, other than Neely is the best other character to make, in my opinion. You could maybe pull something from each season, but I don't really feel that's necessary. Reacher and just his friend Neely, I think would be perfect. Well, guys, those are some of my picks for licenses that I think Funko would do very well on in the next year or coming years. Let me know what you guys think about my selections. Do you agree or disagree on some of these? And of course, like I said, let me know what are some other things that you would love to see Funko make in the future. Now, that's all for me today, though. Make sure to hit the like button down below if you did enjoy, and subscribe and click that notification bell if you're new here. I do want to say a big shout out to all the awesome Patreon supporters of the channel. You guys are amazing for supporting myself and the channel. If you guys are interested and want to check out the Patreon, the link is down below. We have a Patreon-only Discord where we share a lot of information, news, restocks, updates, links, and more. And finally, make sure to be following me on all my social medias at Skittlerampage over on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and my Facebook page, so you can stay up to date. All right, love you guys. See you guys in the next one. See you guys later. Bye.